Monday morning. Rain laced the sidewalks of downtown Chicago. Jordan Blake, dressed in a tailored charcoal suit, approached the glass doors of Hawthorne and Reed LLP, one of the city's oldest and most powerful law firms. He walked in, briefcase in hand, and was met by a receptionist whose smile faded into suspicion. "You lost, sweetheart?" she asked. Jordan smiled politely. "No, I'm here for a meeting." The receptionist didn't bother to check the schedule. "Interviews for legal assistants were last week," she added, glancing toward his shoes as if searching for a crack in his appearance. Jordan maintained his composure. "Actually, I'm here to see Mr. Langston." The name made her pause. Langston was one of the firm's managing partners. She gestured toward the waiting lounge, calling someone under her breath. From behind the frosted glass doors, 2 junior associates peered out, whispering. One snickered. Another texted, "Another walk-in dreamer, SMH." Time ticked on. Jordan sat quietly, scanning the law journals on the coffee table. Several contained articles quoting him. A hiring coordinator named Brad finally stepped out. He wore a forced smile and spoke without looking Jordan in the eyes. "Listen, we appreciate your interest, but we're not hiring right now." Jordan offered a handshake. Brad ignored it. "You're welcome to drop off a resume at reception, though." Jordan nodded, stood up, and walked calmly toward the elevator. The room relaxed. Brad whispered to the receptionist. At least he took the hint. But just as the elevator doors opened, another man stormed into the lobby. A tall, graying figure in a navy suit. Mr. Langston himself. Langston spotted Jordan and broke into a grin. "Blake, there you are. We were waiting upstairs. Welcome to Hawthorne and Reed, partner." The room went silent. Brad's face drained of color. The receptionist stammered, "P. partner." Langston shook Jordan's hand firmly. "We're honored by your decision. The merger documents are ready." Jordan stepped back into the now reverent room. He glanced at Brad, then the receptionist, but said nothing. The silence screamed louder than words. What no one in the lobby knew was that Jordan Blake had built one of the fastest-growing boutique civil rights law firms in the country. His team had taken on major corporations and won. He wasn't there for an interview. He was there to acquire. In the penthouse conference room, the partners of Hawthorne and Reed stood to greet Jordan. Champagne was already chilling. Langston raised a toast. To the future of a more progressive firm. Brad, now red-faced, was called up for introductions. Jordan extended his hand again. Years earlier, Jordan had been underestimated at every turn. Growing up on the South Side, he taught himself constitutional law using secondhand books. Harvard came. Calling after his mock trial performance made national headlines. But even then, he was told, "You'll have to work twice as hard." After graduation, Jordan rejected offers from firms like Hawthorne and Reed. Instead, he founded Blake Legal Collective, hiring other brilliant black attorneys who had been passed over. Their success was meteoric. Landmark wins, media attention, quiet whispers of envy from elite circles. Facing a PR crisis and financial downturn, Hawthorne and Reed approached Blake Legal. They offered a partnership, but Jordan negotiated terms that would give him full control of hiring, diversity initiatives, and 30% of equity. He agreed on one condition: no one at the firm would be told in advance. Back in the office, Langston called an all-staff meeting. Jordan took the floor. "Some of you met me earlier today. You assumed I was applying for something less than what I came here to do. Let me be clear. I'm not here to fit in. I'm here to lead." Brad was placed on a cultural review sabbatical. HR launched an investigation into hiring practices. The receptionist was reassigned to a new role under Jordan's executive assistant, who just happened to be a former paralegal she once turned away. Jordan's first action as lead partner? Audit the last 10 years of hiring records. The findings were damning. Less than 3% of applicants interviewed had been people of color. The board was forced to issue a public apology. A week later, Jordan stood before the cameras. "This firm's legacy will not be built on exclusion but transformation. We are rebuilding trust from the inside out." Other firms took notice. Diversity panels requested Jordan to speak. Clients who once looked elsewhere came back. The firm's stock and reputation soared. One evening, Jordan received a handwritten letter from his mother. "They finally see the son I always saw. But I'm most proud that you never stopped seeing yourself." At the firm's first Diversity and Inclusion Summit, Jordan stood at the podium. "I didn't come here to earn a seat at your table. I came to redesign the entire table." Years later, interns of color would tell the story of the man who walked in, was rejected, and moments later returned as their boss. His story became a case study, a symbol, proof that excellence isn't about proving oneself to others, but knowing your worth, even when the world forgets it. Jordan filed a class action lawsuit on behalf of previously rejected applicants of color. The discovery process revealed racial bias in internal email threads. Settlements followed. An unsigned memo circulated through the firm titled "Merit or Optics?" questioning Jordan's promotion. Jordan responded by releasing a public performance report showing a 40% revenue increase under his leadership. A group of senior partners found their behind-the-scenes efforts to undermine Jordan exposed in leaked chats. All three were forced to resign. Jordan invited his old law professor, who had once stood up for him against academic discrimination, to give a keynote. The professor wept while addressing the packed auditorium. He instituted a hiring program specifically for first-gen law graduates from underserved communities, creating pipelines for those never given a chance. The receptionist, humbled by her early behavior, approached Jordan privately to apologize. He accepted and sponsored her tuition for paralegal certification. Jordan sat in on future hiring interviews. When a promising black applicant arrived, he noticed a partner's dismissive tone. Jordan interrupted, "We're not repeating history." At a Black Law Students Association event, Jordan told his story. A young man asked, "Did it ever feel worth it?" Jordan paused, smiled. "Every insult was tuition for this moment. Yes, it was worth it." The firm renamed its civil rights library the Blake Justice Center. The plaque read, "In honor of those who broke doors not meant to open and walked through." Jordan never raised his voice, never fought with fists, but the echo of his footsteps in that lobby changed an entire institution. Not with rage, but with unshakable presence. Jordan's first official day as lead partner began with whispers. Staff who had once ignored him now watched him closely, some with grudging respect, others with barely concealed resentment. Yet Jordan's calm confidence turned the tension into quiet anticipation. Behind closed doors, Jordan dismantled decades of outdated policies. Diversity wasn't a buzzword. It became a mandate. Every meeting started with honest questions. Who's missing from this conversation? Not everyone welcomed change. A few senior partners quietly plotted. Anonymous memos appeared, questioning Jordan's credentials and threatening lawsuits. But Jordan stayed above the fray, letting his results speak. One unexpected supporter emerged, Brad, the same man who had rejected Jordan at the lobby. After an honest, private conversation, Brad admitted his past mistakes. "I didn't know, but I'm learning." Jordan saw in Brad a symbol of hope that even deep prejudice could be challenged. At a crucial board meeting, some partners voted against Jordan's proposals, fearing loss of control. The vote was tight, but Jordan's growing coalition secured the majority. The firm's future was changing, and some would have to fall in line or fall away. Jordan remembered his mentor, a retired judge who had taught him resilience. A quiet ceremony at the firm honored her legacy, an inspiration to never forget those who opened doors for others. News outlets caught wind of the story. Headlines praised the bold takeover, but also questioned the firm's previous, closed-door culture. Jordan used the spotlight to highlight systemic inequality in the legal world, turning controversy into advocacy. Some longtime clients pulled their accounts, uncomfortable with the changes. But new clients, social justice organizations, startups, and forward-thinking corporations, flocked to the firm, eager to be part of a new era. A young black associate, inspired by Jordan's rise, spoke at an internal forum. "For the first time, I don't feel invisible here." Her words echoed through the firm, a reminder of why Jordan's fight mattered. A rival law firm reached out with an offer to partner on a landmark civil rights case. Jordan agreed under one condition: shared leadership and commitment to diversity. Late one night, Jordan's phone rang. It was his mother, her voice trembling with pride and emotion. "You showed them what we always knew, Jordan. Keep fighting." An unmarked envelope arrived at Jordan's office containing a thin letter. Some doors should never open. Security tightened, but Jordan refused to be intimidated. A former partner filed a lawsuit claiming breach of contract over Jordan's restructuring. The legal battle tested Jordan's resilience and the firm's loyalty. In a packed courtroom, Jordan's team dismantled the frivolous claims, exposing years of discriminatory hiring and promotion practices. Justice was not only served, it was televised. The court ruling cemented Jordan's leadership and forced the firm to implement sweeping reforms, setting a precedent for other institutions nationwide. Jordan invited his mentor to the firm's annual gala. Her speech moved many to tears, reminding everyone of the power of perseverance and vision. Jordan personally interviewed the first wave of hires under the new policy. Among them was a young woman from his old neighborhood, whose bright eyes mirrored his own. One by one, the firm's leadership positions shifted to reflect its new values. Promotions were no longer about who you knew, but about who you were and what you could achieve. Jordan launched a community outreach initiative offering free legal services to underserved neighborhoods, giving back to the very streets that shaped him. Sitting in his corner office, overlooking the city, Jordan reflected on the long journey, from rejection in the lobby to ruling the boardroom. The fight was far from over, but the victory was undeniable. An anonymous email landed in Jordan's inbox. It contained evidence of past discrimination settlements that were buried by the firm. Jordan faced a choice: protect the firm's image or expose the truth. Jordan brought the email to the board. Gasps filled the room. A secret internal review began quietly, thoroughly. Some senior figures resigned before their names could appear in the final report. For the first time in the firm's 100-year history, all employees were invited to transparent town hall. Jordan didn't sugarcoat the past. "We cannot change history," he said, "but we can own it and never repeat it." Ms. Havers, a reclusive senior partner who had rarely spoken in meetings, finally stepped forward. Her voice trembled as she admitted complicity in ignoring inequality. "I let it happen. I let them happen." Her public apology shook the room. The firm made a historic pledge. 50% of leadership roles would go to people from marginalized communities within 5 years. Skeptics called it a stunt. Jordan called it overdue. Jordan returned to his alma mater to speak. Students gave him a standing ovation before he even spoke. "I wasn't supposed to be here," he said, "and yet here I am. So what's your excuse for not tearing down walls?" Trolls flooded social media, accusing Jordan of race baiting and ruining tradition. He didn't flinch. He tweeted, "If tradition excludes justice, it deserves to be ruined." A group of ousted partners tried to start a rival firm, using their influence to poach clients. Jordan's team didn't panic. They let integrity be their competitive edge. Slowly, clients trickled back. A major network filmed a feature on Jordan's journey, titled "The Man Who Bought the Building." It went viral. People across the country shared stories of their own quiet battles with gatekeepers. Jordan met up with the black teenager who once tried to enter the firm years ago, just like he had. That boy was now a college senior studying law. Jordan offered him a summer internship. Full circle. Jordan launched an audit across all company practices: hiring, promotion, pay equity. Results revealed painful truths. "We either fix it now," he said, "or history will fix us." One morning, Jordan shared an elevator ride with a new intern who nervously asked, "Are you?" Jordan smiled. "Just someone who used to be ignored in this same elevator." In the firm's main hallway, a new wall was unveiled. Portraits of trailblazers of color in law, not just from this firm but from across history. A visible reminder that excellence isn't limited by background. The partner who once laughed in court never apologized. Jordan didn't need him to. "His silence is his legacy," Jordan told a colleague. Mine is the change. In a closing speech at a national equity summit, Jordan stood tall. They told me to come back tomorrow, he said. So I bought the building, and now the door stays open. For everyone. Jordan quietly invited a handful of brilliant lawyers who had once been rejected by Hawthorne and Reed. Some hesitated. Others jumped at the chance. Let's make this place what it should have been, Jordan told them. Jordan ordered a complete overhaul of the firm's employee handbook. Biased dress codes, coded language, and ambiguous cultural fit standards were stripped out. In their place, transparency, inclusion, and fairness. For a major civil case, Jordan assembled the firm's first all-black trial team. Eyebrows were raised, then jaws dropped when they won a $28 million verdict. Excellence spoke louder than skepticism. Competing firms accused Jordan of being too performative with his diversity efforts. He invited them to a joint panel on equitable legal practices. None of them showed up. The silence said everything. A first-year associate named Leah called out a partner for microaggressions. In the past, she might have been let go. Under Jordan's leadership, she was promoted, then asked to co-lead the firm's culture committee. Jordan created a foundation to provide full law school scholarships for underrepresented students. The first class of recipients called themselves Blake's Barristers. Their bar exam pass rate, 100%. While reviewing old files, Jordan found a wrongful termination case that had mysteriously disappeared from records. He reopened it, tracked down the plaintiff, and settled the case personally. Justice doesn't expire, he told them. During a quarterly meeting, Jordan unveiled a 3-year plan for global expansion, led by talent from historically excluded communities. Investors balked until they saw the growth projections. They approved it unanimously. Jordan met with the mayor of Chicago. They discussed using Hawthorne and Reed's resources to offer free legal aid clinics in underserved neighborhoods. It launched a citywide partnership weeks later. Langston, now semi-retired, sent Jordan a rare email. You didn't just lead the firm, you changed its soul. Thank you. Jordan stared at it for a long time before closing his laptop, quietly emotional. At a national legal conference, Jordan received a Lifetime Achievement Award before the age of 40. In his speech, he said, "This award isn't just mine. It belongs to every door that closed on me, and everyone I kicked open after." One morning, Jordan stood by the firm's lobby elevator and held the door open for a nervous young man. "You here for the intern program?" Jordan asked. The man nodded. "Good. We've been waiting for you." Jordan visited the grave of his old community mentor, Mr. Rowley. He left a note. "You told me not to blend in. I didn't. I took the light you gave me and turned it into a spotlight." For a full day, Jordan didn't give any directives. Instead, he observed what he saw: a firm running on integrity, compassion, and courage, even without him needing to lead every moment. That was legacy. At the front of the firm, a new bronze plaque was mounted under the main sign. It read, "This building was once a barrier. It is now a beacon. Jordan A. Blake." A junior accountant flagged unusual offshore transfers from a firm-owned shell company. Jordan's name was attached to the approvals, except he had never signed them. Digging deeper, Jordan discovered the transactions were approved using a digital signature cloned from his email account. Someone was laundering money in his name. When Jordan confronted the finance team, one senior manager quit immediately without explanation. It was too clean, too fast. Something was being covered up. He obtained lobby security footage from the night of the transactions. A shadowy figure entered the building after hours with a keycard. One registered to Langston Reed. Langston, once a mentor, had been siphoning firm funds through a ghost company for over a decade. He thought naming Jordan managing partner would protect him from suspicion. Every physical file related to those accounts had vanished. But an IT intern, Tasha, had backed up data offsite weeks earlier for a class project. She saved the evidence unintentionally. Jordan received an anonymous call. "Drop the investigation or you'll be disbarred." Or worse. The voice was disguised, but it chilled him to the bone. Jordan considered going public, but it would destroy the firm's reputation. and every honest employee's career. He needed a plan that served justice and protected the innocent. He devised a plan: play along, gather more evidence, and quietly involve the FBI's white-collar crimes unit. Undercover agents were planted as consultants inside the firm. Langston began to suspect. He sent encrypted emails, ordered asset transfers, and scheduled a sudden trip to the Cayman Islands. The clock was ticking. Suddenly, Jordan was served with a formal complaint to the State Bar, alleging he orchestrated the fraud. The evidence was doctored, but the accusation spread like wildfire. During a board meeting, Langston appeared with his high-powered attorney, demanding Jordan step down. "You've become the liability," he hissed. Jordan said nothing, just slid a flash drive across the table. The flash drive contained surveillance, IP logs, the forensic IT report, and testimony from Tasha and the FBI. Langston's smirk faded. The moment Langston left the meeting, federal agents intercepted him in the lobby. He was handcuffed beneath the firm's motto, "Truth above all." Whispers turned to gasps. Staff realized their founder was a fraud. But Jordan stood before them, calm. "We are not our past. We are the future we choose to build." Langston pleaded not guilty, but the evidence was overwhelming. In court, his attorney tried to paint Jordan as the mastermind. The jury didn't buy it. Langston Reed was found guilty on all 17 counts: fraud, embezzlement, obstruction. He was sentenced to 38 years in federal prison with no chance of parole. Jordan reorganized the partnership structure, removed toxic remnants of the old guard, and renamed the firm simply Blake Justice Group. A new era had begun. Jordan stood at a podium, firm employees behind him, cameras flashing. Some people tried to steal this firm's soul, but we reclaimed it. Justice didn't knock politely, kicked the door in. On the wall of the firm's lobby, beside a new portrait of Jordan, were etched the words, "Let no lie stand. Let no truth be buried. Let justice be louder than legacy." Stay tuned for more chilling cases on Cold Case Chronicles, where the truth is always darker than fiction. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to Cold Case Chronicles. We dive deeper into the most chilling, unsolved mysteries, and together, we uncover what was left behind. Like, share, and leave a comment below. We want to hear your thoughts. Stay vigilant. Stay curious. The truth never rests.